Now we have this De Moivre's theorem, which basically tells the following. If we have the expression cos theta plus I sin theta, and if we raise it to n, then this is actually equal to cos n theta plus I sin n theta. So which means the power becomes the multiple. And this De Moivre's theorem is such a powerful technique. You can derive all your formulas from trigonometry from this. Okay, let's quickly derive cos 2 theta and sin 2 theta double angle formulas. So let's say cos theta plus sin theta, I sin theta raised to 2. A squared plus B squared plus 2AB. And according to De Moivre's theorem, this is equal to cos 2 theta plus I into sin 2 theta. Okay, so now you have got the formulas. When are two complex numbers equal to each other? When their real parts are equal. So we get cos 2 theta as cos squared theta minus sin squared theta. And their imaginary parts are equal. So we get sin 2 theta as 2 sin theta cos theta. But I would say don't use De Moivre's theorem, use this. This is much better. The Euler's formula. Okay, cos theta plus I sin theta is e to the power I theta. Yes, that is Euler's formula. Now use the law of indices. E to the power I theta raised to n must be e to the power I theta into n, or e to the power I n theta. So e to the power I n theta again by Euler's identity will be cos n theta plus I sin n theta. So you can prove all your formulas from trigonometry using the De Moivre's theorem or the Euler's formula. Okay. Then we have cube roots of unity. Cube roots of unity means cube roots of 1. Okay. So let one of the cube roots be x. So x cube is equal to 1, or x is equal to, okay, let me write it in this way, or x cube minus 1 is equal to 0. Now some people ask this question, are not the cube roots of 1 equal to 1 1 1? That's wrong. Okay, this is the explanation. If we consider the following polynomial x minus 1 into x minus 1, this is basically x minus 1 raised to 3. Okay, and if we are solving the cubic equation x minus 1 raised to 3 equal to 0, then the roots are equal. Okay, but this equation that we have got here is different from this one, right? It's like saying, are these two equations same? No, you know that x squared minus 1 has roots plus or minus 1, so they are unequal. But x minus 1 raised to 2 equal to 0, this is also a quadratic equation, but it has real and repeated roots, so both are equal to 1. In this case, x1 is plus 1 and x2 is minus 1. So just like that, cube roots of unity or cube roots of 1 are three distinct complex numbers. Well, one of them is 0. If you take x equal to 1, then you will get 1 cube minus 1 equal to 0. So now our job is to find the other two roots. Okay, there are two ways to find the roots, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the more general way. Okay, so let's take this equation, let's rewrite it as x cube equal to 1, and now pay attention. I'm going to write this 1 as 1 plus 0i, and now I'm going to make use of the complex exponential form of this complex number. Okay, 1 plus 0i can be written as e to the power I into 0, because cos 0 is 1, sin 0 is 0. But we know that for all angles cos theta is equal to cos of theta plus 2n pi? Yes. This is what we do when we find the general solutions. And same thing with sine. Which means e to the power I into 0 can be written as e to the power I into 0 plus 2n pi. Correct? Where n is, or n takes values 1, 2, 3 and so on. Well, it actually begins from 0. Okay, so let's now check what happens if n is 0. For that, let's write x cube as e to the power I 2n pi. And now take cube roots. So x will be e to the power I 2n pi by 3. Okay. So again we have cleverly used the Euler's formula. So आता इथं n च्यात किती values possible आहेत? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let us start with n equal to 0. So you will get x equal to 1. If you take n equal to n equal to 1, then what will x be? E to the power I 2 pi by 3. That is cos 2 pi by 3 plus I into sin 2 pi by 3. 2 pi by 3 is in the second quadrant, x negative, y positive. Now what will happen if we take n equal to 2? X will be e to the power I 4 pi by 3. Yes. So it's cos 4 pi by 3 negative 1 by 2 plus I into sin 4 pi by 3. So this angle is in the third quadrant now. Okay, so for n equal to 1 and n equal to 2, we have got two different complex numbers. Now you will ask what happens if n is 3. If n is 3, you will again get 1. How? If n is 3, it will be e to the power I 2n pi by 3 or 6 pi by 3 or 2 pi. What is cos 2 pi? 1. Sin 2 pi? 0. Okay. So we have got the three complex cube roots of unity. One of them is 1. Usually the second complex cube root is denoted by omega. And the third complex cube root is actually omega squared. You can actually verify it. And if you call this as omega, then this will be omega squared. Okay. Now there are some properties of these cube roots. What are they? The properties are as follows. Property 1. They are in geometric progression. Right, 1 omega omega square. Second property, sum of the roots is 0. Okay, and then you can come up with various other properties, but I'll just say omega cube is 1, omega raised to 4 is omega because omega cube is 1, omega raised to 5 is omega squared, omega raised to 6 is again 1 and so on. Okay, so this is regarding the cube roots of unity and their properties. Now if you go to the quadratic equation that I solved for you to explain how to solve the previously unsolvable quadratic equations, if you compare them, if you compare these roots of the quadratic equation with our omegas, you will find that they are same. Okay, negative 1 by 2 plus or minus I root 3 by 2, and we have got the same things here. Okay, so you may call the complex cube roots of unity. Now by complex cube roots I mean these two. Okay, you may say that these are actually the roots of which quadratic equation? 1 plus x squared, and that is how we get the following property. Sum of the complex cube roots of unity is 0. The corresponding quadratic equation is x squared plus x plus 1 equal to 0. Okay, so that completes the cube roots of unity and their properties.